Good morning, everyone. Welcome to today's live session. And there's a lot to talk about. The headline, of course, is Dave Portnoy. He finally reveals his $1.2 million Bitcoin purchase. But besides this, there's a lot to talk about, a lot going on with Bitcoin and other things. So, thanks for tuning in. Let's get started. Welcome, guys. Welcome to another live session. I tried to have one last week, but things have been funky with YouTube and live streaming. So notification wasn't going out. It just wasn't working. So unfortunately I had to cancel, but I do plan on continuing to have these live sessions every Friday at 11 a.m. now. A little bit closer to lunchtime for most people. So make sure you tune in because notifications may not be working. It may not be working. Sometimes live sessions, the notification just doesn't work for some reason. But I'm glad you guys are here. There's a lot to talk about. As always, I have these sessions on Friday because I know you guys don't want to work. No one wants to work on Friday. It's looser. I like to have casual conversations with you guys. So hopefully you guys enjoy it. All right, let's get started. Those of you guys that are already here, thank you. Hit the like and subscribe to the channel if you are brand new to this channel and to my live streams. All right, so let's start with Bitcoin as always. 10,600, 10,700. Not too bad. Not too bad. Yesterday was a little bit higher, but Bitcoin right now is hovering because there's a lot of things going on today. Specifically, there's a massive amount of Bitcoin options that is set to expire, over $1 billion worth. It's about half of all the options out there. Same thing with Ethereum. About $400–500 million worth of Ethereum options go expire. And of course, there's futures expiration too. So the thing about Bitcoin tend to go down before a Bitcoin futures expiration. That kind of died off for the last few months, right? No one's paying attention. But today, there's $1 billion worth of options that is set to expire. Well, 1.5 billion if you count Ethereum. So we'll have to see what happens. I try to find official time, right? Like the official time. I know it's happening today. I'm trying to find official time. I can't. But it's somewhere between now and this afternoon. So it could be nothing. It could mean that nothing happens afterward, but it could also mean that the pressure is relieved afterwards and Bitcoin and altcoins can rally up in a big way, or it could dump in a big way. So we'll have to see, but there's more and more reasons why many are feeling, the upside is much greater than the downside at this point because there's just so much going for Bitcoin right now. And I have a few interesting articles that talk about it. So we'll have to see what happens. Today is definitely a big day, but overall, Bitcoin has been holding strong above 10,000 since its fall from 12,000 down. You could see bears try to push Bitcoin below 10,000, and for a very short amount of time, it did many times, and it crawled back every single time. So it seems like Bitcoin is utilizing this 10K or this 9940 as a real support, and it's building up. All right, so there's a few things I want to share about Bitcoin, but before that, I want to get to the main topic of today's video. It's not really main, but honestly, a lot of people care about Dave Portnoy, whether you like him or you don't. People know his name and care about him. So I just found this out. So I saw this article, and then I went to the podcast. So I got to say, Anthony Pompliano is definitely doing his thing. He doesn't get enough recognition. And if you look at the number of views on his videos and stuff, should be a hell of a lot more. Because this guy is a cool guy, casual guy. He tries to dumb things down. Yet, he gets serious when he needs to. And he interviews all the people that are interested in Bitcoin or they're Bitcoin bears. Obviously, what's going on with him and Peter Schiff, that's different, right? That's just for fun. He knows he can't convince Peter Schiff otherwise, and Peter Schiff is just utilizing it to gain more followers. But I recommended his podcast where he talked to Jim Cramer. I thought that was a very good one. Jim Cramer was very, very candid about his concerns for recession. Despite what he says on Mad Money on CNBC, he has to put up like a front because he's a personality. People look to him. So he's putting up a front, but, he openly admitted to Anthony Papaano or Pomp that he's really scared of what the $3 trillion, that was minted out of thin air is going to do for the future, for inflation, for his children. So that is why he actually got convinced that he should buy Bitcoin. That's a big thing, although not a lot of people pay attention to Jim Cramer, but it's still pretty significant. So this one, same thing. I'll admit, I haven't watched a lot of Dave, right? I've seen bits and pieces. I created a video before when he exited Bitcoin. This one, I will say, just like the Jim Cramer one, this one is actually decent because Dave is actually being candid. Once again, he's not throwing F-bombs left and right like what he usually does in his videos. He does a few times, but you could tell he's actually being real sincere in what he's saying now. And this podcast, actually very little about Bitcoin and what's going on. It's mostly about Barstool Sports, and they talk about a lot with online gambling and so forth. But you can tell Dave is not just the buffoon that he portrays himself to be, just like Jim Cramer. He has an online personality during his regular podcast. He seems like he's just a shill, and he has a green hammer, and he just causes things to happen, right? Like things just magically happen for him. No, if you actually listen to what he's saying, he's actually a pretty careful guy. He does a lot of research. So what he's portraying out there is definitely not his real self. That's just like kind of like a persona. But he admits something that I said very early on, because when he exited Bitcoin, it was for such a small amount. It just didn't make any sense. I'm like, I guarantee you this guy put a lot more in. I think originally when he said he bought Bitcoin, it was like $25,000, right? And I said I had to be at least 10 times that, $250,000. So he admits to Pomp that he actually put in $1.2 million into Bitcoin, right? So that makes a lot more sense. And that's just saying how much he put into Bitcoin. Does not, he didn't say how much he put into Chainlink and also Orchid at the time. And he got burned by both. So he could have put $1 million into each one of them too, right? He does have the money to do so. But he explains, the reason why he got out is because he was fearful how much fluctuations he was seeing with his portfolio, because, I'm just going to assume he has 3 million in there, and he wakes up the next day and he sees it's down 20%. And then he wakes up the next day and he's down another 30% or 20%, right? So he got scared. He just got really scared and left. So that's the reason, right? And he still wants to get back in crypto. He says he's not back in yet. We'll see if he gets back in. But I mean, honestly, it makes me not hate Dave as much after watching this, although he rambles on about a lot of stuff. So honestly, I skip forward a lot of stuff. But you guys want to watch it, check it out. A lot more candid, a lot more real. But that's the honest truth about Bitcoin, right? Bitcoin is volatile. And same thing with altcoins. At times, it seems like you could do no wrong. Everything is just going high. You look like a genius, and you look like you're on your path to being a millionaire, right? And then the next day, you feel like a total fool because you could have taken profits, you didn't, and now it's down 30%. And then you wait another day, you wait another week, and you wait another month, and you could be down 90%. So crypto's like that, but that's why most of us are in it. Bitcoin, we're holding for life-changing wealth. But altcoins, more speculative. Obviously, it moves faster both ways. And you just got to be careful. You got to try to take emotions out. Try not to fall for traps, right? That's the name of the game. That is crypto, right? So someone like Dave, who doesn't really know anything, jumps right in and then leaves right away. It's because he hasn't been in it long enough. He hasn't learned. He had actually no reason to really get in that much that fast. But anyways, so that's the thing. So I actually think this is a good watch. I know some of you guys hate Dave. Some of you guys don't know who he is, but he is a self-made multimillionaire. So he's not as stupid as he portrays. And his stint into crypto and Bitcoin was definitely a learning lesson, like maybe what we went through, most of us went through in 2017 or 2018 or even earlier than that. But, everyone goes through these things. It's quite interesting, All right, so what else is going on with Bitcoin? Well, I find it funny because today I was just thinking about all the guys that we used to talk about, right? Like Tom Lee from Fundstrat. He used to go on CNBC all the time to talk about Bitcoin, right? When was the last time you remember you heard something from Tom Lee? He basically disappeared off the face of the earth. He does not. I don't know if he's even in the spotlight anymore, right? And same thing with, say, Brian Kelly. Brian Kelly, he has his own company, investment company. He used to be on CNBC and Squawk Box, and he was a big Bitcoin bull. When was the last time you seen Brian Kelly? All these guys just disappeared, right? It's like they got burned. Their reputations got burned because they hyped up Bitcoin and altcoins. Especially Brian Kelly was on the air telling people to buy Ripple when it was at $3 plus. They got burned, but hopefully they haven't just done a 180 and become bearish. Hopefully. But the reason why I bring that is because there is still analysts. A senior analyst, Mike McGlone from Bloomberg, he puts out good information, and he looks at stats, and I like this one. So he's saying that the current fair value price of Bitcoin should be around $15,000, right? So is that just a number he pulled out of thin air? No. He's looking at something interesting, and that is the usage, the number of addresses and the usage of them. So to quote, the Bitcoin hash rate continues to increase and reach new highs. Also advancing are addresses used, the top metric for adoption. The 30-day average of Bitcoin addresses is equivalent to the price closer to 15,000 when you measure it on an auto scale basis since 2017. So quite interesting. So I highlighted this one. Meanwhile, the number of active Bitcoin addresses has soared to 991,000, close to a million. Glassnode data shows up from 684,000 at the beginning of the year, when the asset price averaged around 7,700. When active addresses hit nearly 1.1 million on December 23rd, 2018, Bitcoin was trading at 14,800 on average. So he's looking at it that way, right? He's looking at data and correlating. Of course, we know data is not always 100%, but it's better than just guessing, right? It's better than just saying, okay, I think it's going to be at 15,000 because I think so, right? So I like it. So Mike McGlone, I used to chat with him on LinkedIn. I haven't chatted with him recently, but yeah, he said he enjoys my show, so I always like that. But anyways, I like the fact that he is someone that's stuck with Bitcoin. He does still believe in Bitcoin. It seems like through his analysis, he's still a Bitcoin bull. But some of these other guys that come on TV, they're just like spewing out number. They just spew out a random number and they don't really back it up. And I love to hear back from Tom Lee and Brian Kelly someday, but they're not on air anymore. All right, moving on. Another interesting chart. If you didn't look at the headlines, you look at this, right? I think a lot of you guys will say, okay, this is Bitcoin's price, and it was stuck in a descending triangle, right? A descending wedge, and it broke out of the wedge, right? So it's BTC to dollars, basically. But no, this is actually BTC to gold. And just interesting, very interesting. The point of this article is the Bitcoin versus gold ratio snaps out a 3-year bear market. Well, we know gold basically has not moved at all, right? Since the beginning of time, basically. No, I'm just kidding. Since Peter Schiff started shilling at 11 years ago. It basically has done nothing but go down. Only recently this year it has come up, hit about as high as $2,000 per ounce and started hovering around there, 1900, and it just really hasn't moved. But because of that, gold actually has been holding stronger than Bitcoin if you look at the last 3 years, right? Because Bitcoin went up to 20,000 and came back down. But now if you look at this correlation between Bitcoin and gold, things have flipped, right? So this 3-year decline, and you can see the trend line where Bitcoin can't really break through, just like the price versus USD, but it has broken through. And now not only is it using the trend, not only has it broken through the trend line, but it's also utilizing it as a support. So what does this mean? Well, this means that according to at least Travis Kling, that Bitcoin is definitely a better buy than gold at this point. And it's only going to get stronger, which I think most of us already agreed with, right? But this is, again, another factual thing, another data point you could look at. And I personally think that Peter Schiff, as I mentioned his name a lot, I personally think within the next few months, he's going to come out and admit that he has bought Bitcoin. And the reason why is because he keeps tweeting. First of all, most of his followers are Bitcoin bugs, okay? The only reason why Peter ever talks about Bitcoin right now and why tweets it because he basically, doesn't want to lose his followers. But he's been tweeting a lot recently. I just noticed my camera angle's not very good. There. But he's been tweeting a lot about his son getting into Bitcoin, how his son's not listening to him, and then he asked his son to, he asked people to donate Bitcoin to his son, and I don't know. It just seems like, no, this camera angle is still not good. All right. Anyways, it just seems like that's a continuous thing and continuing trend, and I think the next trend is he's going to say, oh, my son convinced me to buy Bitcoin, or, oh, I have an address, so why don't you guys donate Bitcoin to me? I think we're going to see that within the next few months. I honestly think that's going to be the case. But, yeah. So, I lost my train of thought. But, yeah, Bitcoin is gaining on gold, right? And this story has been circulating. And, the story about MicroStrategy, which a lot of people don't pay attention to. But the CEO is now getting some attention because of what he did. He purchased $425 million worth of BTC, and this is Michael Saylor. And he's been quoted as saying that Paul Tudor Jones, if he knew more about Bitcoin, he would put a lot more than 2% into Bitcoin, just like him. Because basically, he turned his company, MicroStrategy, into a Bitcoin play. It doesn't really matter anymore what they do. They're in business intelligence, but really, anyone that's looking at MicroStrategy and if they're buying their stock, the only reason why they're doing that is because they're betting on Bitcoin. Because they basically put all their money, $425 million worth, into Bitcoin. They're just a Bitcoin holding company at this point, right? And he also says that Bitcoin is definitely much better than gold. The upside is just way better. And a lot of people, this is what I'm saying, a lot of people are starting to recognize Bitcoin. The bearish bears are now starting to turn pro Bitcoin because they're starting to see the true potential of it. Not everyone has converted, but a lot of people are starting to see the true potential. And the price might not reflect it yet. We're not at 100,000. We're not at $1 million yet, but it's getting there. It's getting there. It's getting there, and I don't think we have to wait much longer before we see it go much higher than where it is now. All right, what else is going on? A lot of DeFi stuff. I got an email from Gemini, and I saw this, and this is a big thing because Gemini does not add a lot of new tokens often. But all of a sudden, they will be adding basically every single popular DeFi coin there is. Balancer, Curve, Ren, Synthetic, UMA, Uniswap, Yearn Finance. All of them will be added on, not only for trading, but also for custody. And then also more tokens, Decentraland, Kyber, Maker, Storage, and 0x will be added to their custody service. So they're going all in. They don't want to miss out on this trend. And I think that's the thing. Every single exchange out there, they they're in it to make money, right? So they want to make money, and DeFi is definitely a hot thing right now. So, but this is still a surprise that Gemini would all of a sudden add so many to their trading platform right away. So, so yeah, okay. So now looking at this DeFi Pulse refresh, you see just went up. Yeah, that's why DeFi is not going away anytime soon. Even though some of the values have dropped, but look at the total value locked in now. It's at 10.55. This is $1 billion more than a few days ago, and I didn't even notice that it climbed as high as 12 billion before coming down. Right, so the number of DeFi tokens locked in is increasing substantially. This is a lot. 10, almost 11 billion out of the whole entire market cap. This is a lot that's staked in, and it could be a combination. Doesn't mean it's all bad. I know a lot of you guys have bad taste of DeFi. Doesn't mean it's all bad, because a lot of people are just utilizing, say, DEXs like Uniswap and Curve Finance and Balancer and SushiSwap. A lot of people are just utilizing them to buy, to trade and buy tokens. They rather utilize a DEX than a centralized exchange. And what's great is now these DEXs actually have liquidity because of liquidity pool, because people, staking, and, now you could actually trade on these DEXs rather than centralized exchanges. So that's positive overall, right? Of course, people are still lending. People are putting down collateral to borrow against. I'm not a fan of that, but there are people that put down simply to earn interest. That's taking, functionality away from traditional banks. So that's also positive, right? The only thing I don't like is yield farming. Now, yield farming, you could argue there's nothing wrong with yield farming. It's just that there's many projects that are coming out, popping out, and they're just pump and dumps, and they're scam projects. That's what's bad, right? That's what's really bad about DeFi right now. But you could argue even yield farming, which is basically a sophisticated way of staking. You could argue there's nothing wrong with that either. But anyways, so DeFi is on its way up. And overall, I think locked in value is good as it goes up. And the reason being because you think about a lot of people that tend to get antsy, a lot of people that have weak hands, or they tend to FOMO. There's less chance of them doing that if they locked in their crypto, right? So I think as the value locked in goes up, actually helps curb down volatility a little bit, right? Some of these monster drops that we may see, maybe that decreases because of the total locked in value, because people actually have a reason not to sell their crypto. So I think overall this could also be good. So we will see, but it's definitely going up. All right, so now moving on to a project, Chainlink. Chainlink up 30%, selling off a 6-week downtrend. And I didn't know this, and I even mentioned it in my last video. I'm like, man, Chainlink is taking a real dump, and it got to a point where I didn't think it would go. And that was below $8, briefly. But then it held down to $8, and now today's up $10, right? So it's coming up. It's still in the top 10, but still, after hitting a recent 20, kind of went down a little bit, then went back up to 15, went down, it's been hovering, but then it just got really weak. But honestly, altcoins have been really weak, right? Altcoins for this past week has been really weak. Even though Bitcoin has held, altcoins has seen some real weakness, which is why even today, you can see BTC's dominance still 58%, right? Even though today's a pretty good day, a lot of projects going up. Cardano's up almost 20%, and then Chainlink is up 15%. Polkadot, XRP even. A lot of altcoins are starting to recover today, but still, it's nowhere near where it was a few weeks ago, and BTC dominance is still high because of how weak they've been. But according to this article, the reason why Chainlink was weaker than some of the others in the space, and why it was so weak, why it went down to $7, is because the developers were selling. So it appears that a dev address has been selling batches of 500,000 tokens, approximately worth $4.8 million per patch at current prices, and they've been selling off over the last 6 months. So when things are up, it's not going to affect the price. But when things are down, it's just adding more sell pressure, right? And this article concludes that the addresses show several outflows to Binance, but then the trail goes cold. So most likely they converted to BTC or they sold off or something. But that probably is the reason why Chainlink has been so weak recently, because of just overall weakness with altcoins and then with the continuous selling by the devs. So maybe. But does that change anything? No, because I've come out and said I like Chainlink. I like Chainlink a lot. They're basically the only Oracle play in town. Although, yes, others are trying to compete with them, but they're like so far ahead. And yes, they're involved. They're crucial with DeFi. But even if all DeFi projects went away tomorrow, they're still fine because non-DeFi projects also utilize Chainlink for other reasons. So they're kind of the best. They're in a really good situation. They're best of both worlds. They're really necessary in DeFi, and they're also really necessary in non-DeFi. So I think Chainlink will be fine. They will recover. So I still believe in them. What else is there? Market watch. So the Dow, S&P, and NASDAQ is up slightly. This is something I've been paying attention to recently. Not sure what I feel, but I am very cautious at this point because I don't know if the markets will continue going up and up and up and up like before, right? We have seen where there's weakness in the traditional broader market. It does have effect on Bitcoin and crypto. It's a pretty one-to-one effect. When there's big down days, Bitcoin altcoins sell off. And big up days, Bitcoin altcoins go up. So that decoupling hasn't happened yet. So I'm a little concerned what I'm seeing with NASDAQ and some of these other companies. Because the tech bubble, if it had burst and it's now starting to trend downwards, that could be bad. So I'm still watching it. It's very early on. There's a lot of uncertainty still going on right now. Obviously, COVID is still around. Elections is coming up, right? Who's going to win? What's going to happen afterwards, right? There's a lot of things going on right now. Second stimulus package is still being discussed. What are the repercussions of that? We go, what's going to happen with the stimulus check and the second round of printing? I don't know. There's just a lot of things going on. So I think we gotta be careful about this, because if the market has peaked and it's going to start coming down, it's definitely going to have effect on the broader market. Broader market and crypto, I should say. All right. Lastly, this has nothing to do with Bitcoin. I saw this and I just didn't believe it. This story just sounds fake. North Korean leader, Supreme Leader Kim Jong-un issues apology for unfortunate killing of South Korean official. Supposedly, a 47-year-old man was trying to defect to North Korea, but was shot dead by nation's troops when he was discovered in their waters. Like, think about it. Why would anyone defect to North Korea? That just doesn't make any sense, right? And the fact that Kim Jong-un is issuing an official apology, that means it was pretty serious. Whoever this person that was killed is probably a very high-ranking official. And if he didn't apologize, maybe it could have led to war or something. I mean, when was the last time you heard of him apologizing for anything, right? So there's a lot more to this story. But it just sounds really off. I know this is nothing in Bitcoin, but I just want to bring that out because it's really wild. All right. Lastly, before I get to Q&A, which I plan on doing, and I do want to have a good session, I do have a new sponsor today. They are a Base Protocol. And when I first looked at this webpage, I thought, what else? What can projects do? That hasn't been done before. So Base Protocol is doing something that projects haven't done before. They are coming out with a synthetic crypto asset that is pegged to the total market cap of all cryptocurrencies. But they're doing it at a ratio of 1 to 1 trillionth. So it's definitely a lot smaller. But this is interesting. So pretty soon, once they're live, you'll have a token that tracks the entire cryptocurrency market. That's pretty wild. That doesn't exist right now. That's actually a new thing. So if you think about it, it's kind of like if you look at stocks, you know how like ETFs track a certain industry, right? And we do have synthetic tokens right now that track, say, gold or something like that. But you don't have anything that tracks the entire market cap of all tokens in the entire market. So kind of interesting. So that's who Base Protocol is. Synthetic token engineered to simulate market patterns of the underlying asset, which is all cryptocurrencies, right? There are elastic supply protocol, which programmatically, I can't even pronounce that, expands and contracts token supply to achieve target price equilibrium with 1/1,000,000th of the total market cap. And then they rebase. Basically, they will readjust according to the total market cap. If it goes up, they're going to increase. If it doesn't, it's going to go down. And users will be able to buy Base at Uniswap liquidity pool. So they will have a liquidity pool on Uniswap. That's the popular thing these days. And they will have a geyser for users to get rewards for staking their Base, right? So that's what they're about. They do have an ILO going on right now, initial liquidity offering, and they're trying to raise $900,000. $900,000, that's actually pretty reasonable. Unlike a lot of companies that are trying to raise, millions, tens of millions, 100 million, whatever. They're trying to raise 900,000, and 450 of that is being used for liquidity on Uniswap. So kind of interesting. Now, what's also interesting, what they didn't put on here, and I can't verify, but the marketing person that reached out to me said that the main developer for Base Protocol, he is the main developer for a top 10 project right now on CMC, and let me see if I can get this right. And he was formerly a dev that was part of Ethereum Foundation, right? So if it comes out, I don't know, if you think about who's in the top 10, it's probably not Ethereum, I'm guessing, but it could be. It's not gonna be Litecoin because Litecoin's a team of one. It's just Charlie Lee. Maybe it's Chainlink. It could be Chainlink. It could be Polkadot. It could be Bitcoin Cash or XRP. One of those things. But the main developer is from one of those projects. So I'm sure after the project gets released, they will release who that is. But they don't want to say who it is right now. So we'll have to see. But here's also a page for their ILO. So if you're interested, definitely check them out. I already put their links in the description of this video. Check out Base Protocol if you want to get into a new project that's within the DeFi space that's actually doing something different. Check them out, and their ILO is ongoing, and they have a Discord, so definitely check it out. All the links is in the description of this video. All right, that's it. Let me turn it to you guys for some Q&A. $7LMX777. That's a very unique name. I am drinking coconut water. I can't stand coconut stuff. I used to use coconut oil to cook. It's just too much. And same thing with coconut water. I don't know. I can't stand it. Urban Sexy Man, I was just thinking about you. You're the one who told me pick up Tyler Hero stuff. Unfortunately, I didn't listen, but I did have a few things. I had a few of his rookie cards. I sent them for grading, and I'm still waiting. It's been 2.5 months, and they're still not done, and I'm getting pissed off. But that's just how the grading industry is. So, like, they could be delayed for months, and people are still sending stuff to them, right? So, yeah, unfortunately, now it's later in the year. The sunlight in my room, the position of the sun during this time is like shining right on my head. So unfortunately the lighting is not so good. So I apologize for that. I can't do anything about it unless I put some blinds up there. Georgia asked you earlier. Seems to be a big buzz about Ripple and XRP being a new global currency and all these other crypto places. Is that true, or what do you say? Your word is golden to me. There's no one that talks about Ripple and XRP being the next global currency anymore. So that was 3 years ago. Fast forward 3 years now. No one is talking about that. No one talks about XRP getting to $589 anymore, because if you look at what's happening right now, it's not going to happen. It's not. XRP, is meant to be a cross-border payment network for banks. But what are the banks doing? Are they relying on XRP? Are they relying on, I forgot the term. It's not X current, X rapid. No, they're coming out with their own, and they're utilizing that, right? But then you could argue, well, if JP Morgan has their own JP Morgan coin and Bank of America has their own, and all these are coming out their own tokens to do the same thing, how do you transact between them, right? Well, that's true. So you do have to have some base currency, but that base currency could be anything, right? It could be a stable coin. It could be the USD. It could be something else. So I don't know. The likelihood of XRP actually achieving what they set out to achieve just seems less and less likely every day. And of course, you have global currencies already. You could utilize a number of crypto out there. The main one being Bitcoin. So yeah, I don't know about that. I don't hear anyone else talk about that either. But at the end of this video, end of this stream, I do have informative video about XRP and Ripple. It was shared to me recently, so I'm gonna play that at the end of this stream. So make sure you stay till the end of the stream to watch it. Top 5 coins for you with 1,000x potential. I don't have any of those. I don't cling on to the hope of buying something for $100 and watching it grow to $1 million. Those days are gone. I think people are a lot smarter now. I think 2017, what happened there, obviously was a number of things, and it was a perfect situation, right? These days, it's just, I don't know. These days, it just doesn't seem like that's a reality anymore. But with DeFi, maybe we're seeing a lot of these DeFi stuff pump, right? But they're not for good reasons. And I guess we'll have to wait. We'll wait until the end of the 4-year cycle, which is 2021, when Bitcoin is supposed to hit at least 100,000 and beyond, right? Some people are anticipating it's going to be a 5-year cycle now that may be pushed to 2022. But regardless, so when we see that happen, I think all coins are going to go up in a big way. But whether or not these coins will go up 1,000%, 10,000%, 100,000%, like 2017, maybe. I guess we'll just have to see. But people are a lot more educated these days. People have been burned a lot more. People are less likely to take huge risks. But then again, that could just be me and not everyone else. So we'll see. Did you hear YouTube age restriction coming this month? This happens on YouTube, everyone. It will rely on AI robot to detect if your video's age restriction. I did not hear that. That might be hard. I don't know. That might be hard. We'll see. You already have to verify your age already when you create a video, and you have to deem, not your age, but you have to deem if it's for kids or not. So I guess if they catch you, then obviously you're in trouble. But I don't know how their AI bot has been horrible for crypto videos, right? So I don't know how well it's going to work. Jammer, appreciate that. Stake liquidity on Uniswap, easier way to grow your bags. I was thinking about that. I really regret that I didn't get myself involved with Uniswap early on, just made some trades, because I would have got free tokens. I really regret that. But honestly, I have not been using any DEXs. I have not been using Uniswap, but I should. I should. And I've thought about too. I thought about, you know, I haven't staked, you know, for a long, long, long time. So I'm like, you know, why not try staking, right? So the liquidity pool on Uniswap actually seems like if you contribute, you get a little bit back, especially with Uniswap now because you're getting back UNI before you didn't get anything. So I may try it. May try it. Doesn't mean that I am going to try it, but I may try it. Hundreds of YouTube channel talks about XRP progress. Maybe because I don't watch any other channel that talks about crypto. I don't feel the need to. So it could be, but at least people that comment on my videos or tune into these streams, they've stopped shilling or giving hope on XRP reaching $589 someday. So maybe that's why. Yeah, Tyler Hero cards start going up in a big way. I mean, he's looking like a star. You know who else is looking like a star for sure? Jamal Murray. He is damn good under pressure. He is so good under pressure. His cards started going up a lot already due to the last two series, but he seems like a guy that just really thrives on pressure. So yeah, he's gonna be a big star in the NBA. So Tyler Hero, I still haven't watched much of him, but I've been hearing good things about him. But I've been watching a lot more of Jamal Murray, and he's gonna be a true star for sure. Band, Teller, or Chainlink for October? I'm disappointed with Band, and that's because I can't confirm this or not, but there's just rumors that Band, the CTO of Band, was the one that started SushiSwap. So because of that, that really hurt them and it really brought them down. They are still the second biggest Oracle play in town. However, others are trying to catch up. You know, like Band did make a partnership with Tron, but Tron just had an IEO of an Oracle setup, an Oracle project that is based on Tron. So I don't know if that partnership is really legit or maybe it's just temporary until Tron caters to their own Oracle setup. So I'm not sure. I'm not so sure about Band. I still like Chainlink. I think it was a good buy when they hit $7 recently, $8 recently, and now it's coming back up. The same thing with Uniswap. I don't think Uniswap is going away anytime soon. They fell hard, I know, but I think Uniswap is definitely one to keep because they could be the next Binance in terms of DEXs, right? They're supported by a lot of big players, a lot of big investors. So I don't think Uniswap's going away anytime soon. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know about Band. I don't know anything about Teller, so I can't comment on it. So out of your three, I would say Chainlink. I saw the new Porsche sports car. I don't know which one you're talking about. A-Day, appreciate you coming in here and saying that. Quarter crawler, yes, go Lakers. Now they're up 3-1. Hopefully it's not a repeat of the Clipper series or the Jazz series, right? I mean, Denver is not going away anywhere. They're a good team, but it's hard to overcome the height of the Lakers. Dwight Howard, finally they started him. He's doing a fantastic job on a Joker. And AD and LeBron, the combination of the two is a killer. But I will say, I'm getting sick of LeBron. I got a ton of his rookie cards. I know they're going to go up. But I'm sick of LeBron holding the ball like all the time, just wasting time. And then he commits like a really bad turnover or bad pass. I mean, thank God that the Lakers have Rondo. He's the true floor leader, especially down the stretch. I mean, Rondo has been making some big plays. So Polkadot doesn't need oracles. Actually, they do. They do. As far as I know, Polkadot is hooked up with Chainlink. At least they're utilizing them right now. So I don't know if Polkadot is going to come out their own, but The protocols themselves may not need an oracle, but the dApps that they're catering, they're nurturing, do need oracles, right? You could program your own, but the thing is, there's a lot of things that's very sensitive. You need to have accurate data all the time. You can't have it go down. For example, DeFi projects. You can't have the price feed go down, even for a second, because any given second, people are taking out loans, right? And you need to calculate that. And people that should be liquidated or whatever, or paid, they need to know like 100% all the time, like accurate pricing. So even though you could develop your own and grab stuff, are you really that robust? Can you stay up 24/7 forever? That's the question. So that is why Chainlink is so crucial right now. Bob, yes, I still have mine. Nulls is doing some amazing things. So I covered Nulls in my last video like 2 days ago. They came out their own decks, the Nerve decks. Nerve basically allows them to talk to and swap assets with other chains. And the very first one they did is with Ethereum. That is huge. They want to get into DeFi game, right? So now DeFi projects can swap tokens between Nulls and Nerve and also ETH. So I think that's a big thing. Nulls is actually doing a lot of things in the background. And I don't know if I should share this, but I've been talking to someone in the Nulls team, and they have said that they are working on marketing. Because one of the things that they haven't been doing is marketing. They've been performing, developing, and getting everything ready. And if you look at what they have with Chain Factory, Chainbox, with Nerve Network, with everything that they have going on, their SCOs, they have a lot of stuff. Like even more stuff than the big players. But no one is paying attention to them, including myself. I don't track Nulls like 24/7 like I used to. But they're going to be concentrating on marketing soon. So hopefully that does gain more attention for them. Tony. I don't know if Dentacoin is still around. Let's see. Oh boy, Dentacoin is gone. Oh no. Okay, they're still there. 4 million market cap. Dentacoin, man, their heyday, they were like $1.2 billion. I always said that, those dentists, they have some strong hands. Dentacoin was holding really, really strong for a long time, but now they have bottomed out. Get out of here, G Kim. Did you actually really buy some Dentacoin? What are your thoughts on Utrust? Man, welcome, Randy. And no, I don't like Utrust. They're still around. Let me just bring them up. Let's see if they change their mission at all. Because, yeah, I didn't like this idea at the beginning, and I still don't think I like it. So Utrust is trying to be the third party for online payments, right? Utilizing crypto. The good thing and the bad thing about PayPal is, as a buyer, PayPal is fantastic. You are basically protected. For 6 months, you could basically claim that your item is not as advertised. If there's anything wrong, anything at all, you could claim and basically get your money back. So PayPal is fantastic for buyers, which is why everyone uses them. PayPal sucks for sellers, okay? Because the only thing you could really prove is whether or not you delivered. So you get signature, you get tracking, but that's it. It's really hard for you to prove whether or not the item you sent is the item they paid for or whether it's working and stuff like that. So that's why, as a seller, it kind of sucks. But basically, PayPal is an arbitrage company, okay? But that's what Utrust is trying to do. But people don't want an arbitrage company, or like, not an arbitrage. I forgot the term. But basically, they're trying to be like the middle person, right? To make sure a transaction is legit. So you trust how they used to work, at least, and I still think this is how they work, is if you pay for something, the vendor doesn't get it. The buyer has to say, yes, I got it, this is good. Then Use Trust deploys the funds to the seller. Like, why would you want to utilize that as a seller? You wouldn't want that. The point of crypto is once you send it, that's it. There's no recurse. There's no chargeback. There's nothing. Once you send it, that's it. You can't get it back. Utrust is trying to be the third party and saying, okay, we're going to hold the funds. And until the buyer says, okay, then we'll release it. There's no vendors that's going to utilize it. Not in the crypto sphere. So that's why I've always hated Utrust. I think this idea just doesn't work for crypto. So I don't know if that helps answer your question. Recently lost $600 because of scammer with PayPal on eBay. That's not true. Okay, you explain to me how you lost $600 because I just don't believe that there's no recourse for you as a buyer. Do you think Yearn Finance would be duplicated in a way that others offer low float for big price appreciation of the marketing tool? I mean, Yearn Finance is already being duplicated. There's a lot of companies that's utilizing the same concept. Maybe not exactly the same way. Honestly, I don't know 100% how Yearn Finance works, but there's a lot of lending companies out there that's in this space. So they are being duplicated. The only reason why Yearn Finance was really pumping is due to one reason. Is due to Arthur Hayes pumping it. That's the reason why it started coming up in a big way. And then DeFi got hot, and then obviously it contributes to that. But Yearn Finance actually seems like it's legit, but because of the pumps that was going on, because of Arthur, kind of like tarnished that. Neblio? Come on. Neblio? No. I was the very first. I don't know if you guys remember Zach of CCN, right? He was the one that got paid by Neblio in a big way and didn't disclose it. So that's the thing. That's why Zach stopped making videos with CCN, because he got caught, not disclosing a lot of sponsorship. And I called him out on one of them, and that really hurt him, I think. But anyways, he pumped up Neblio to the moon right before everything popped. But, my counter to that, it was very unpopular at the time. And I said, Neblio just can't possibly do what they're doing. There was 2 people to the team and 3 part-time people. And the main guy was like the main developer and main marketing guy. And there was another woman that was involved that I don't know what she did, but they were trying to cater to businesses and do a lot of things. And they got pumped up to like $2 billion or something. And I'm like, there's no way they could achieve what they're trying to do with the amount of people they have, right? It's just too big of a task. So they came out with their own protocol. They're trying to get into the enterprise space. But unfortunately, they seem to have kind of died down recently. But anyways, that's my story about Utrust. Or not Neblio. Sorry. I sold Xbox One, shipped it, and the buyer used a fake credit card. The owner of the card called his bank and recharged the money from PayPal. Then after the recharge, the seller protection program wasn't active anymore. Sorry, chargeback, they called it. See, that's because you're a seller, not a buyer. I said that, right? I said it's 100% for buyers, not sellers. So that's the thing. So that makes more sense. But the owner called it, the seller protection program is a long time. It's like 60 days or 90 days. So even if they did a chargeback, people have done a chargeback, but PayPal covers you that with the seller protection program. So I don't know how the card company could do a chargeback after like 60 days or 90 days. So I don't know. But usually if you can prove that you delivered it with signature, then you are covered. So is it possible that you didn't show signature delivery or just delivery confirmation or tracking confirmation? Do you think Miami will be NBA Finals? Yes, Miami will be the Celtics for sure. It's going to be Miami and Lakers in the finals. And Lakers will win. That is for sure. If I want a Crypto Kitty, no, I don't. Roger, if the buyer changes their mind, yes, they could probably get it back, but then they would have needed to send the camera back to you. It's not like they get to keep the camera and you refund them $1,200, right? So you got the camera back. So unfortunately, you'll just have to sell it again. So like I said, PayPal is 100% on the side of buyers, which is why buyers love it, and it really sucks for sellers. I was in early on. I know everything about PayPal because I went through all this. I got in PayPal and I was selling on eBay like when eBay just first started getting popular. And PayPal would do extreme things early on. Now they're a separate company from PayPal, eBay, so they can't do all the things they used to do. But PayPal would, if they see you actually getting an influx of sales, right? Even though eBay was 100%, 100% rating. Everything was going through. No one made a single complaint. If they think you're selling too much, you know what they'll do? They'll lock down your account. They will keep all the funds in your account. You can't withdraw it. And then they force you, first of all, to do a credit check out of the blue. Second of all, if the amount is too high, they will actually force you to submit receipts to them. So like the audacity of them to do that. It's not their business to do that, but they did it. They did it to me multiple times. So not only did I have to submit my social to them, they had to do a credit check multiple times. I had to submit like 100 pages of receipts to them to prove to them that I actually legitimately bought the products and sold it, and then they released the funds. And it took like three months before they released the funds. So think about that, right? So I went through it all with PayPal. I know it sucks for sellers. They don't do that these days now, but they can suspend your account and still lock your money. Unlike a bank where they have to give back your money, no, they could say, oh, we're locking your account and we're closing your account and we'll give it back in 6 months. And you have to wait 6 months to get it back because they're not a bank. They don't have to go by banking rules. So that's the thing. So yeah, that's my story with PayPal. I know everything about PayPal and it sucks. But the good thing is because eBay is a separate company now, you can just utilize credit card directly on eBay. You don't have to utilize PayPal as a buyer, right? If you really hated PayPal, but most people still do. They didn't send the camera back, but PayPal insurance paid my wife's losses. Okay, so at least you got it. Cash App locked your account, lost $900. Why? Why did they do that? Did they ask you to do KYC and you didn't? BCH going to fork. I saw that. Roger Ver is getting a real taste of what he started. You know, he thought. I mean, I don't want to say only bad things about Roger because I think he's still very good for the community. He did a lot for Bitcoin, but he started something that he opened a Pandora's box. You know, he forced a contentious fork of Bitcoin Cash because he didn't like what the developers are doing, right? Then guess what happened with Bitcoin Cash? He was best friends with Craig Wright. Craig Wright's like, no, I don't like you anymore. I'm going to fork off. What's the other I don't even talk about that anymore, so I totally forgot who they are. Bitcoin. Where is it? Bitcoin SV. That's right. So that got forked off, right? And then they were fighting. And then Roger used to say that Bitcoin Cash followed the white paper the most. He can't even say that anymore because Bitcoin SV actually follows the white paper more. So now Roger Ver is fighting the Bitcoin Cash team because Bitcoin Cash team wants to propose this new thing where basically there's like I think 10% or 8% of the miner rewards will go to a development fund for the developers. And Roger doesn't like that. So now I think he's going to split off another fork, and I don't know who's actually going to keep the Bitcoin Cash name. I think Roger wants to keep the Bitcoin Cash name, but I don't think that's going to happen. I think the main group or groups that's supporting this new initiative, they're going to keep the Bitcoin Cash name. So Roger is getting a taste of his own medicine constantly. You know, and Bitcoin Cash wouldn't be in this place if Roger just took some of his profits and just gave it and created a development fund, right? So at least that's one thing that Charlie has. Charlie is supporting Litecoin on his backs. Everything, the foundation, development efforts, marketing, is all based on his own earnings, right? So you got to give props to Charlie for that. But Bitcoin Cash, you know how much money Roger made from the fork? Roger is probably a billionaire already from Bitcoin. And he made probably another billion or few from the fork of Bitcoin Cash. And that's not counting Bitcoin SV, which also forked from Bitcoin Cash. So you got that too. So if he just simply put some of that money into development fund and gave it to the teams to use, there'll be no problem. There's plenty of money for him to do that. But of course, he doesn't want to do that, right? So now Bitcoin Cash teams, they're struggling. So they're proposing this new initiative that's going to get passed. And he's causing another fork. So yeah, so that's the story. That's the story. Roger Hill, not you. You know who I'm talking about. I support you. What happened to Litecoin Cash? I don't know what happened to Litecoin Cash. I think they're dead. The only good thing about forks is you get some free money, free tokens, and your best bet is to sell off right away. So I mean that's honestly the thing, but you don't really hear much about forks these days. Because everyone is concentrating on just creating a new crypto, especially now everyone's just concentrating on DeFi. You don't really hear much about contentious forks anymore, other than Bitcoin Cash, because that's what Roger Ver deserves because he started it all. Put a monthly up, set the line, put RSD and MACD, monthly bearish divergence. Well, I have stochastic and RSI up. RSI, I mean, monthly RSI is going down, but I mean, it's not like it's up here, right? So it could definitely swing right back up. There's been times, I mean, RSI, these are all lagging, right? But if you look at it, if it's oversold, overbought, it's not. Stochastic RSI is not topped out either. It's not like it's here. So, you know, I don't think this actually necessarily shows that it's on its way down. Anyways, I think that's it. I think I'll leave the session. It's a bit longer. I know people are going to complain in comments. It's too long, and you talked about non-crypto projects, but you know what? That's during the Q&A portion. We'll have to see. Today is definitely a big day with Bitcoin options and futures expiring. We'll see what happens. Maybe that relieves some pressure, and then finally Bitcoin altcoins can continue going up. Altcoins today is doing pretty good. You got some good movements, but you could see right here. See, here's the interesting thing. You look at like Chainlink and Cardano, these big guys and big moves, right? But if you look at the overall market, it didn't really increase over yesterday, less than 1%. So that's kind of interesting, right? Right now, everything's just kind of holding steady. So we'll have to see what happens this weekend. We could definitely see some big moves this weekend. Big moves. All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Of course, hit the like. Subscribe to the channel if you are new. If you want to, you can follow me on my other channels. I do have my own vlog channel, and I've been promoting that a little bit. And I'm going to bring it up. So you just search my name. I'm just giving more personal view about different things, investment mistakes, me as a YouTuber, some car stuff, right? So if you want to follow me on there, I appreciate it. And otherwise, that's it. That's it. And I'll see you guys next week, Friday, again, 11 a.m. Central Standard Time. And of course, make sure you follow and watch my daily videos. Not daily, sometimes not, but my recorded videos, because I think they're still good. And like I said, I promised there was an informative video that I received about Ripple and XRP. Here it is. So enjoy and take care.
What do you think about Ripple?
Well, I mean, I think it's too centralized, but I definitely want to meet Chris Larson.